Hey, what's happening, people? How y'all doing? Welcome to another episode of Messages in the Madness with yours truly, Vernon Longhorn Davis. Thank y'all for stopping in, popping in, dropping in. It's Sunday. It's 8 o'clock. I'm here. You're here. And I'm glad to be here. I still look forward to doing this, to being here, to enjoying, to spending this time with you guys. But I will tell you, as I get older, it seems like these Sundays are happening a whole lot faster. It's like, man, it's Sunday already. Yeah, it's Sunday already. So, but it's a wonderful, great thing, and I appreciate y'all supporting me for as long as y'all have and allowing me to come and on this internet and talk and visit with you guys and share some positive messaging, some mental health strategies, and just attempting to make the world just a little bit better. It's been a great weekend. This weekend, Longhorn went to the prom, so his dad and everybody came into town, and we took some pictures. I got those up on Facebook, and then 2 weeks from now, Miss Kayla, who's also a senior this year, she is doing prom, so kind of excited about that as well. So we got to hang out and spend some time together, and it was awesome. I actually had a show this past weekend with of all places, up in Litchfield, Illinois. Carolyn and I performed for the Crime Stoppers of Madison and Macoupin County. I thought that was really interesting. It was a good time. We had a lot of fun with that. So, little news flash in case you ain't caught it on my Facebook. I actually released my new book today. Ta-da! Let me share it with you guys. Let's see. Share the cover at least. Can y'all see it? There it is. The Journey of a Man. What we were never taught but had to learn anyway. Yep, wrote that and got that out there. So it's on Kindle right now. It's still being reviewed by Amazon so that I can get it out in paperback. But I will let you guys know when that becomes available. And if you decide you want to get a copy, I appreciate it. It's going to go to a great cause, I guarantee you. So that's what's happening there, and so that's what no, that's where what's been going on. And so let me look into my magic mirror and see who I'm seeing this evening. Let's see. Hey, Miss Nanette, how you doing? Yeah, glad to see you. Hey, Miss Coley, good to see you as well. Miss Charlotte, great to see you. Baby sis, always happy to see you, baby sis. Hey, Miss Annette, great to see you as well. Hey, Miss Brown, which shows I don't return call self, but anyway, we'll talk about that later. Trying to look at that computer, so give me a holler. But good to see everybody. She said, "Congrats on the new book." Thank you, thank you, thank you. Like I said, it's on Kindle, so if you don't want to buy the book, you can always get the Kindle version. But thank y'all very much. And I'll tell you what prompted the book was I was thinking about the things that we men were never told coming into manhood, and the things, and I was thinking about the things that I just had to figure out. Many of y'all know from reading my books that my father was not part of my life uh, up until a point he was, but after that, I was like 7 years old. But after that, I had to learn how to be a man from watching other men and making my mistakes and so on and so forth. And so I sat down, and wrote down things that I learned. And a lot of those things I've actually talked about on Messages in the Madness. So it was really easy for me. I was able to go back and go through some of my previous shows and pull some of that information. And of course, pulling from Messages in the Madness, the book, some of those stories and lessons there. And got it all put together. So, Buzz, see, I got some CDs of the book. Get me Buzz already bootlegging my book, y'all, on CD. So there's that. All right, guys. So let's get into the message tonight. But let me thank you for letting me talk about my book for a moment. But let's get into it. Yeah. Thanks, Annette. She said, "Good evening. Congratulations on prom season." Yeah, it is prom season, isn't it? But tonight the message is called "The Person Life Prepared You to Be." Yes, the person life prepared you to be. I've talked about this subject. I've kind of hinted around it, but I've never focused in on this particular message. So tonight, that's what we're going to talk about. I want you to breathe just for a moment, though. Not the shallow breath you take when you're rushing through your day, but the kind of breath you take when you finally admit to yourself, my life does not look like the picture I had in my head. Has anybody else ever had that realization? And I want you to hear me clearly tonight. That realization is not weakness or failure or defeat. That realization is a starting point of transformation. Because you see, life has a way of introducing you to a version of yourself you never planned to become. No, you didn't. You didn't plan. Honestly, if I'll just ask the question, are you exactly where you're at in life, where you plan to be, and how you got there? Was that your plan, how you got there? Ask yourself that question honestly. Because see, you didn't plan this version of you. And it rarely life rarely asks for permission first. It doesn't. It not rarely, it just doesn't ask for permission. We all had that picture. Hey daughter, good to see you. Glad you're back from your trip. We all had a picture, a timeline, a plan, a version of ourselves we expected to meet by now. Yeah. But life does not check your expectations. It don't check your expectations before it applies pressure. Life does not ask for your approval before it shifts your terrain, before it changes your trajectory, before it shifts your perspective, before it changes the things that it has to do, that you have to do or had to do in your life to survive to get to where you're at right now. Life does not apologize before it hands you your responsibility. It does not apologize for loss or change and moments that shake your identity. And suddenly you're standing in a life you did not plan. You're carrying weight you didn't expect, making decisions you did not rehearse, and trying to reconcile the gap between who you thought you would be and who you actually are. Wow. Hey, August, good to see you, bro. It doesn't. Before you know it, life just does you like that. These things were not planned. You didn't plan to have to carry such heavy weights through your life and make decisions that changed your life. There was no permission added. That gap can feel like a battlefield because you're holding two versions of yourself at the same time. The imagined one, the one that you thought that your life would be, and the one that you're actually living, or the one you live through. In a lot of cases, unless you were just born with a silver spoon in your mouth and your life was planned out and somebody was walking you through it, that's not what you thought was going to be your life, and what it is now is not actually is not reality. And if you're not careful, you will start comparing the two. And comparison is a thief. It is a thief with perfect aim. It is a thief that comes in the night. It is a thief that swaps out your life that you thought it was going to be for the life that you actually have or have lived. Somebody says you are in a world of your choice and or decisions. Sometimes it's not, and I agree with you to a degree there. Sometimes the things that happen to us are not our choices or not the choices that we wanted to choose from, but we had to choose one or the other. And that choice may have taken us off the path that we had planned. And yes, our decisions are our decisions, true enough. We have to own those. But a lot of times, those decisions are not the ones that we thought we would have to make. But here is the truth. Here's the truth you have been missing. The version you are comparing yourself to was never tested. Again, tested, T-S, I mean T-E-S-T-E-D, never tested. That version never had to survive anything. It never had to survive the things that you have. It never had to go through the things that you have had to go through and endure and move forward from. And sometimes relive year after year on a certain anniversary. Never had to adjust to anything. It didn't. That version of your perfect life never had to rebuild anything or carry anything. Life will always reveal the difference between what you planned and what is actual. And that's real. And here's something we rarely admit. Sometimes the imagined version of ourselves becomes a kind of a ghost we chase, a shadow we measure ourselves against. It's a silent critic that whispers, you should be further by now. I've heard it because I've talked to y'all about it before. I thought that I would be further along in my comedy career than what I am. I thought I'd be further along in my speaking career than what I am. And it's a silent critic. And it can get real loud. Yeah. But that imagined version never lived your life. The version of you that you thought was going to be never actually lived the life that you are living. It's never been through a storm or carried your responsibilities or walked through your losses or your wins. It never had to stand in your shoes. So why give it the authority to judge the version of you that has actually lived? DC Fluffy Baby Sis says sometimes it's something you have no control over or choice to make, such as getting laid off, getting in bad accidents, sudden illnesses. That is very true. Whatever you have been dealt in life, you have a choice. Like how you wake up and choose it will be good or bad day. Now that is true. You get to decide how your day is going to go. That is very true, sir. But there are things that happen to us that we have no choice, no control over. We don't see them coming. But the decisions that we have to make immediately can sometimes immediately change the trajectory of our lives. Hey, Bobby, good to see you, man. I stopped in and asked about you the other day. Hey, daughter, good to see you as well. So let me take you back to a day that shifted for me. The loss of my job. When I lost my job, there was no dramatic music or no slow motion scene, no inspirational soundtrack, just silence. The kind of silence that feels like it's staring at you. I remember looking at the clock. Time of day when I'm usually in motion. I'm leading some. I'm planning. I'm executing. I'm delivering. I'm planning my travel. But that day, there was nothing to deliver, nothing to plan, nothing to lead. Matter of fact, I was in the middle of doing all of that when I got the Zoom call and they had that conversation with me. I was in the middle of doing what I had to do, pulling levers and pushing buttons and making phone calls. All of a sudden, it was gone. And the first thing that hit me was not panic. I didn't panic. It was the weight of the structure that had just been ripped from up under me because I had structure to my life. I had a job that I liked, I loved, and I prepared to do it. Not good. I did my job exceptionally well. I actually loved my job, but it changed just like that. And many of us have been there. We have been there. Let me go back to this comment. Jerry says, he says, sorry I'm late today. It was a rough day. Woke up with the left side of my face. Oh, my. It's my second bout of, I am so sorry to hear that, bro. I hope that you're doing better, and we're praying for you on that one. Bobby said, life happens. You decide on how you're going to handle it. That's the point, Bobby. Don't be trying to steal my thunder, but that's the point. You do get to decide how you're going to handle it, but sometimes the choices that you have are not the choices that you want. Yeah. What happens to you, good or bad, depends on how you deal with Mitch again, a choice and decision. Okay. Let's see. Bobby says, worst thing they could have done. Baby girl, the daughter says, I've learned to just put it in God's hands. That's I get, I do a lot of that. Bobby says, you have taught me so much that I can't even explain. That day they lost a good person and a good teacher. Well, thank you, Bobby. I appreciate that. So, Jerry says, thank you. I am. It's just frustrating, especially since I'm on camera for my job. Yeah, I can understand that. So again, we're praying for you, Jerry. Hope you're feeling better. Miss Coley, we're glad to see you. We're glad to see you feeling good enough to be on the call with us tonight. So we build, and that says every day is an asylum in my world. Wow. Okay. So we build our identity around structure. Thank you, Annette. We do. Around titles and routines, around the people who expect us to show up. And when that structure collapses, you do not just lose a job, you lose the version of yourself that depended on it. I sat there thinking, this is not how the playbook was drawn up. This ain't what's supposed to be happening. And if you have ever had the rug pulled from up under you, you know exactly what I mean. If you know what I mean, just put a thumbs up in the chat. If you know what I'm talking about, just put a thumbs up in the chat. Because, see, when it's your life, it hits different. The questions start flooding in. What about my responsibilities? What about the people counting on me? The phone calls coming in. Hey, man, where you at? How come I ain't heard from you? What about the future I planned? I know they say, you want to hear God laugh? Tell him your plans. And God will say, here, hold my beer. And he'll do something else. But in all of this, what does it say about me? What does this say about me? And let me be honest, I didn't have a heroic moment the next day. I did not wake up with clarity. I did not feel strong. I did not feel prepared. I felt exposed, uncertain, unanchored. Yeah. But pressure has a way of stripping away everything that does not matter and leaving you to face with the essentials. And in that moment, I realized something. I had not lost everything. I was being introduced to the version of me that could survive this. I was introduced to the version of me that could survive this because I had to move on. I had to move forward. I couldn't stay in that space. There's a moment in every person's life when the old version of you can no longer carry the weight of the new reality you are facing. And that moment is uncomfortable. It feels like loss, but it's actually transition. It feels like breaking, but it's actually reshaping. It feels like the end. And I know I've been there. But it's actually the introduction to a stronger, wiser, more capable version of you. I remember telling somebody one time, I've been to hell. And I walked up to the gate and they wouldn't let me in because they told me I had to go through some more things. And I wasn't where I was supposed to be. Bobby says God only puts hurdles in your way that he knows you can handle. Not everything is permanent. Everything happens for a better reason. Remember, Job, he went through many trials and was rewarded at the end. Yes, he was. Now, I'm going to agree with you, but I'm going to kind of disagree with you because I know I have watched God put some things on people that I didn't know if they was going to make it. So, but that's another show. Annette says, I no longer carry it. I return to my rosary. There you go. You put it somewhere else. You took it off you. So I had to think differently, y'all. I had to move differently. I had to lead differently. I could not rely on the old playbook because the game had changed. And that is when I learned something life changing. You cannot build resilience in comfort. Did you hear me? You cannot build resilience in comfort. You build it in pressure. Comfort teaches you preference. Pressure teaches you capacity. Going back to what Bobby said. Comfort shows you what you like. Pressure shows you what you are made of. It does. Comfort is the smooth highway. And pressure is the unexpected terrain that forces you to shift gears, tap into your reserve power, and discover strength you did not know you had. If you've ever been in a situation where you found strength that you did not know that you had, just type in 100 in the comments. Because I know I done been through a number of situations and I found strength that I couldn't tell you where I found that strength. Matter of fact, I wrote about it in my book, I've Never Seen Strength Like That. The version of you built on comfort is not the version that can carry your calling. It can't. And here's something else pressure teaches you. It teaches you what is real. When life is smooth, you can afford to hold on to things that do not serve you. You can afford to maintain habits that drain you. You can afford to entertain relationships that distract you. But when pressure hits, it's like getting punched in the face by Mike Tyson. When that pressure hits, everything unnecessary falls away. You let go of everything. You could be holding a baby. It may not be yours, but you'll drop that baby when that pressure hits. Everything falls away. Pressure clarifies. It clarifies like dropping chlorine into a dirty pool. It clarifies. Pressure reveals. Pressure lets you see things that you didn't see before. Pressure lets you see people for who they are and what they are. Pressure lets you see you in the light that you should be seen in. It will change your life. It will change your life if you will admit to it. Pressure exposes what is solid and what is not. And sometimes the greatest gift pressure gives you is the truth about yourself. Pressure will give you the truth about you, whether you like it or not. It will be served cold, thank you very much, with a glass of lukewarm water. That's what pressure will do for you. It will show you who you are. Or we should say, pressure will tell you about yourself. The person you are today is not random. It's not accidental. It's not a mistake. You are the result of every moment you had to adjust, every moment you had to keep going without answers. Yeah. Every moment you had to stand in situations that were not designed for your comfort. That is not failure. That is formation. Like Bobby just said, diamonds are not born under pressure. Be a diamond. Yeah. Jerry says, pressure helps you focus on what truly matters. Yes, it does. Yeah. It will tell you the truth about yourself. Again, I'm going to repeat it. The person you are today is not random. It's not accidental. It's not a mistake. You are the result of every moment you had to adjust, every moment you had to keep going without answers, every moment you had to stand in situations that were not designed for your comfort. That is not failure. That is formation. You survived things the old version of you could not have handled. You carried weight the imagined version of yourself never trained for. You made decisions the planned version of you never had to face. And yet you are still here, still standing, still building, still becoming. That is strength. That is evidence. That is preparation, regardless of what your situation is. Whether you're bedridden, you're up walking straight, you're walking on a cane or a walker, you are still here and you are still contributing. The things that you're going through right now in your life, none of this was planned. You didn't plan a heart attack. You didn't plan to lose the ability to walk. You didn't plan to have you didn't plan none of that. But the planned version of your life, that planned person would not know how to handle what you know how to handle today. And let me add this. You did not just survive those moments. You learned from them. You grew through them. You adapted because of them. You became more aware, more grounded, more intentional. You learned how to navigate uncertainty. You learned how to carry responsibility. You learned how to rebuild after disappointment. You learned how to keep moving even when the path was unclear. You walked by faith, not by sight. That is not something the imagined version of you could have done. That is something only the lived version of you could accomplish. And yes, you should pat yourself on the back. Go buy yourself something pretty because you done been through some things. Life has prepared you. Whew. Life has prepared you to be the person that you are today. Now, hear me. This is where the shift happens. You can want more without disrespecting where you are. You can aim higher without tearing yourself down. You can grow without shaming your starting point, because your starting point is not a punishment. It's a platform. And once you accept that, you can start reaching, you can start reacting to what you thought should have happened and start responding to what is actually in front of you. I think we say it in the hood quite well. Don't forget where you came from. That's your platform. That's your starting point. Good, Annette. I'm glad you bought yourself something nice. That is where real progress begins. That is where momentum starts. That is where the revolution inside of you wakes up. It does. Matter of fact, happy belated birthday, Annette. Sorry about that. You might not be who you thought you would be by now, but you are someone who has lived, learned, adjusted, survived, and continued. You are someone who understands things now that you could not have understood before. You're someone who has been shaped by reality, not imagination. And that matters. That has value. That is preparation. It is. Stop measuring yourself against a version of life that never had to carry what you have carried. Stop holding yourself to a standard that does not account for your journey. Stop. Stop acting like you are behind when life has been preparing you the entire time. If you guys are feeling me tonight, put some hearts into the chat for me. If you're feeling this message tonight, just put a little heart in the chat for me. You are the tested version. You are the prepared version. You are the strengthened version. You are the capable version. You are the ready version. Thank you, daughter, for the hearts. You're not behind. You're not done. You are not done. You're not out of time. You are in progress. And progress does not always look like the picture, but it is still progress. Sometimes the strongest thing you could do is accept where you are. Respect what it took to get here and keep building anyway. Because that is the person, life prepared you to be. It really is. I was telling somebody the other day, I bought you guys know about my accident with the deer, $29,000 deer. And I waited and I went back out 2 months after that accident. I bought a vehicle that I thought that I could deal with. I mean, it got me from point A to point B. It was still a Lincoln. It was that. But I actually had a dream about the vehicle that I really, really wanted, my dream vehicle. And I wanted it in black on black, and I went to go see this vehicle black on black. I think I told you all about this a couple of weeks ago, and it was a beautiful vehicle, but there was something going on with the back end of that vehicle, which was the reason. And so I guess I've kind of figured out that's why it was so cheap. So I didn't buy that vehicle, but it was my dream vehicle. Well, this past Wednesday, I saw an ad on Auto Trader. They didn't even have a picture of the vehicle up. I just called the dealership, and they didn't even have a price. I called the dealership, got a salesman on the phone. Hey, send me a price, send me some pictures. Okay, I'm gonna come over and drive it. And long story short, uh, uh, I should be ashamed of myself, but we got what we got. We got the vehicle. And I was looking at it and I was telling somebody, I said, this is my dream vehicle. It's not the color that I dreamed of it in, but it's the exact vehicle that I wanted. So my point is sometimes we get to where we need to get to. Oh, our dream does come true, or our thoughts do come true, but it may not be the exact color that you dreamed, but it's still the product of the dream. So, Jerry says at 211 degrees, water is hot. At 212 degrees, it boils. And with boiling water comes steam. And with steam, you can power a train. One extra degree makes all the difference. You're absolutely right. I tell my grandkids, I say, you know the difference between an A and a B is? They go, what? 1 point. A little extra effort. 1 point difference between an A and a B. But let me get back to this. We're about to close out tonight, y'all. Man, I am over. I wrote this message for 27 minutes, but sorry. So as we get out of here tonight, I want to leave you with a question that deserves more than a passing thought. It deserves honesty. It deserves reflection. It deserves courage. It deserves the version of you that is finally ready to stop apologizing for your journey and start owning the strength it created. And here's the question: what is the version of you that life just prepared? What is the version of you that life just prepared? Not the version you imagined, not the version you planned, not the version you thought you needed to be. The version you became because life demanded it. The version you became because pressure shaped it. The version you became because survival required it. The version you became because growth called for it. The version of you that is ready for what comes next. I want you to sit with that, honor that, and step into it. Do that. Now, that's the message for tonight, y'all. Before y'all sign off on me, in case you missed it earlier, I want to share with you guys that missed it earlier. I did release this is my fifth book, but my third book that's being published. This book is called. Let me share it with you. Come on. Now it was sharing earlier. Oh, I closed it. That's right. Sorry, but the book is called the Journey of a Man, and actually, this background that you guys are seeing here is from the cover. Um, I'm very happy about it. I'm tickled pink about it. And here, I'm gonna show it to you guys. I'm gonna bring it up. I'm actually very, very, very happy about this. The book is written for men, although I'm not saying women can't read it. But yeah, there's the cover of it right there. But it's called the Journey of a Man. What we were never taught, but we had to learn anyway. Is what it's called. And what it is some information that wasn't shared with me when I was coming up as a man. And these are lessons that I had to learn the hard way. And with that, I'm sure I wrote it, sharing it with the world. I'm not saying I'm the guru, but I have lived a life. Oh, here's the rest of the background. So, actually, it's on Kindle right now. It's on Amazon and it's on Kindle. I'm waiting for them to approve the paperback, so it should be available for purchase here in a day or so. Of course, you guys know I'm gonna post it out there when it does. Um, Thank y'all very much, Miss Brown. Thank you very much. Miss Coley says, "Oh, my uncle works at a dealership." Hint, hint. Your uncle don't want to meet me, Miss Coley, when it comes to buying a car. I am ruthless. I border on being rude. Bobby said, "I missed you Thursday. Come back by soon. Still a lot I can learn. Great message. Kind of needed it. But I'm glad to hear that, Bobby. Thank you." Thank you. Annette said, "Love the background." Jerry says, "I look forward to getting it soon." DC Fluffy, Baby Sis says, "Another awesome, heartfelt message. Wishing you and everyone a lovely and productive week ahead." Yes, ma'am. Love you. Love you too. You know, I'm going to get my copy of the book when it's available in paperback. Buzz said, he got my book down at the barbershop already. Buy one, get one free. You ain't right, Buzz, but I love you, brother. Have a great week, everybody. And as as we gonna close the show like we supposed to. I love you. God loves you. Take care of yourself. Love yourself. Respect yourself. Get them kids a hug from him. Respect our vets, man. Please respect our vets. This has been another episode of Messages in the Madness with yours truly, Vernon Longhorn Davis. Until next week, guy. Oh, next week is Mother's Day. We'll talk about it. God bless y'all. $2.